There he is. The
How
man
you
with the
doing?
plan.
How
Jason
you
Shadowin.
doing?
How is everybody doing out there today? Hopefully
How are
good.
you doing, Mike?
I am doing pretty darn excellent.
I
A little
a little
tired from the
birdie.
weekend, but
Yeah, a little birdie told me you got a new RV. So,
yeah,
how is it?
big impulse buy from the sandwich fair weekend before,
The
but it's
sandwich.
good.
I still
We got
love
it
the name of it.
delivered Saturday afternoon and started doing all the transfer. It's like mini moving houses. It's like moving from one apartment to another.
And if anybody's looking for an RV, Mike has another one for sale, which is his one he just replaced. So,
Yeah. The old one was a really good camper. So
yeah.
can't complain. I mean, it's
And it's really not that old.
a 2010. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not old, but
Yeah.
everything works.
In RV years, it's, middle-aged,
It's middle aged.
like me. And
Yeah.
you? Yeah, you're
I
middle-aged.
guess I'm middle aged.
How old are you?
29.
29, yeah, that's what I thought. So, yeah, middle-aged. Yeah.
No.
Morning, we got some folks
Morning,
joining.
Garrison.
Howdy,
Adam.
howdy,
All the
howdy.
usuals. We got the infamous Doug Shear in the
Oh,
house.
the infamous Doug Shear.
The infamous. And that guy.
I tell you, Doug and I
He's
have
in here
talked.
twice.
Doug and I have talked a lot this week, this past
Have
week.
you?
I'm giving a presentation at PSA next week on disc assessments. And so Doug had me have his entire team do disc assessments through my new platform. And so we've had a lot of fun conversations. When I first got started with this, he was like, holy cow. He's like, are you a wizard? And I'm like, no, I just understand disc, right? Because I'm like, I was just telling him, I said, is this person this? And they kind of have issues with this. And
Did you do one on Doug?
I did do one on Doug.
Oh, that would be interesting to see.
Well, at PSA, I will be utilizing my surveys that I did and disc assessments from all those who participated in my presentation. So it's Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. at PSA. And we're going to be talking about incorporating disc assessments for your team and just helping to make your team a more thriving, more successful community.
So what is Doug a high of? Which letter is Doug a high of?
Doug was actually kind of crazy. Doug's a lot like me. And let me see here. Disc scores.
He doesn't
So,
take me for a high D at all.
no, I'm not a high D, high I. Yeah.
High I or an S?
Let's see. Doug, I hope you don't mind me sharing this. He's a high I with his S as a secondary, and then his D and C are right even.
Ah.
Yeah.
So he
Pretty
feels
cool.
naked.
He feels naked. Yeah.
Not baked. Naked.
I mean,
you said
baked
too much. Does that mean you got to kill him now?
So mine is I'm a high IS as well, and then my D is my third, and C is my lowest. So kind of crazy, and it flipped
kind
for
of
me.
the opposite.
Yeah, my I and my S they flip a lot. So
yeah, I'm definitely a high D.
If
I'm a big D.
If I take this in 2 more months, my S will probably be higher, and my C will probably be higher. Because that's just the way it goes for me. My I and S flip, and my D and my C flip. So
yeah. So for those of you that don't know what Jason's talking about,
on to PSA
disc assessment.
Yeah, personality profile. It's just a way to understand how to communicate with other people, with your team. It's really cool. So you go to myofficehelp.com/disc, and you'll get a short understanding of what it is. And there's also a link there, but you've got to go through WA to be able to do the disc assessment. So yeah.
Yes, Doug.
Yes,
Mike
Doug,
is a big D. Everybody knows Mike's a big D.
I offered Doug to give Mike a assessment. So Mike is actually Maxwell leadership as well. And so he still has some codes from his long past in the days, but I offered to have him take mine and he still hasn't taken it up. So
I'd like to take yours and see
okay.
how it aligns with the Maxwell one.
Okay. Well, actually, it's very, very simple compared to Maxwell. So I'll give you the link after the show. And yeah. So if you'd like more information, reach out to me, myofficehelp.com/disc. So yeah.
We got somebody new.
We got an Aussie. Hey.
We got an Aussie coming in.
Spinny
Look at that.
Mathingy.
Spinny Mathingy. Is that your real name? It's I
Oh, I
would
love it.
I don't know. I'd kind of smack my mama if she gave me that name, Spinny Mathingy.
Now I'm intrigued to
I'd
see,
kind of have to wonder, but you
is
never
it
know. It
your,
could be his real name, and I'm making fun of it. I shouldn't
is
do
it
that.
Service Alliance Group's YouTube channel, or is it my Office Help YouTube channel? That's what I'm interested to know. Can you see?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't show,
Gotcha.
but welcome.
Yeah. Welcome, Spinny Mathingy.
All right, what are we talking about today?
I have no clue at this point.
I know
We're
at this
talking about
point.
creating memorable first impressions, and I think we're doing a great job of it.
Yes, first impression. Spinny Mathingy's really gonna have a good first impression.
Yeah. Spinny Mathingy, you should come to Rowan or Portsmouth, Virginia next week to Professional Servicers Association.
Yes,
And yeah, come meet us. We'd like to know Mr. Spinny Mathingy.
Doug says, "Isn't it the middle of the night over there?" You know, people watch us all hours of the day,
True.
and it is
Very true.
tomorrow. He's coming to us from the future.
The future. Isn't that crazy?
So, which means the world's not going to end tomorrow because he's already there and he's alive. So we're good.
True.
That's how I look at things. All right.
Oh, if I was in the
Creating
neighborhood,
memorable
yeah.
first impressions, the key to customer loyalty. All right. You want to pray us in?
Boy, do I.
Or you want me to do it?
It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You know, I'm good at praying. I'm fine with that. So yeah, whatever works.
Doesn't matter to me. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead and pray
Sounds
us
good.
in, and I'll do the verse.
All right. Dear Lord, just thank you for the opportunity to serve others through our work here today. We ask for your guidance to make meaningful first impressions that reflect your love, your care, and your excellence. Help us to approach every customer interaction with integrity, with kindness, with professionalism, and give us the wisdom to communicate clearly as I stumble upon communicate. God, give us the humility to listen. Give us passion to serve wholeheartedly, and we just pray that our work will not only meet the needs of those we serve, but also bring glory to you. Help us to create experiences that leave lasting impressions, building trust and building loyalty in everything we do, God. May we honor you. May our efforts be a testimony of your goodness. And above all, let people see your love through our actions. Amen.
Amen. It's a great prayer. All right. Let's talk about some verses here. I'm going to do Proverbs 16:3. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. We've done that one quite a bit before, but by committing to our work and intentions, I am like screwing this all up. By
Communicating
our work and interactions to God, we trust that he will help us succeed in making lasting impressions and fostering loyal relationships. All right. So let's get
Commit your
into
work and actions to God and trust that he will help us succeed in making lasting impressions, right? I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Good stuff, Mike.
All right.
So creating memorable first impressions. There are so many ways we can talk about that. And of course, from my side of things, I would always, as an electrician, I would be like, well, it's got to be your marketing, it's got to be your trucks, it's got to be your appearance. But now, with my tool bag hung up after 25 years, now it's all about how are your phones being answered. But I think even still more than that, the marketing is more important. What are people seeing that makes that first impression that say, I want to call this company because they really reached out and touched me in their marketing? So I really feel like it begins a lot in the marketing aspect of things. What about you?
I think everything starts with your your overall impression, and that goes with marketing. I mean,
Yeah.
I think your truck and van wraps are part of your marketing. Your website, obviously, your Google business profile, like
There's so
everything.
many things to marketing.
There, I mean, referrals is
Yeah.
part of your marketing.
Yep.
It's everything. It's your business cards,
Yeah.
print material. It's everywhere that you can be found is all part of marketing. So I
Yeah.
think there's just so much. It's all encompassing almost,
Yeah. You want to ensure your company's branding, all of these things we're talking about aligns with that professional and trustworthy image, right?
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all got to be in alignment, and it's got to
Yeah.
stand out among your competitors. I think that's
Yeah.
where so much of it is, like, that first impression, like, what makes you stand out?
Yeah.
You want to know how much you blend in? Go park your vehicle in a Home Depot parking lot
Mhm.
when all the other contractors are there, and then look and see
Yep.
how who's different. Look who's different. Is it your vehicle? I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
It's going to blend in with all the rest of all the general contractors that are there.
Yep.
Um, I think that's one of the biggest things is, what does your vehicle look like? Does it just
Yeah.
look like anybody else? You know, that's to me, that's the first thing. Look at their logos on their vehicles
Mhm.
compared to yours.
Yeah.
It's the simple things.
A lot of branding stuff we could get into. Dan Antonelli, he's got his branded not blended book. Mike's got a great book called Digital Marketing for Home Service Companies. Oh, home service businesses, sorry. So lots of good thing with branding. Train your team to greet every customer with a smile and positive energy, whether that's in person, whether that's on the phone, whether that's online. You know, when a lot of training that I've done, um, both been given and also given, uh, you walk to the home like you want to be there, right? When you get out of your truck, they're probably looking out the window because they've already got that on my way text if you're a professional and you've got, a good company like HCP or ServiceWorks or one of these that gives that on the my way text, then they're going to be looking for you. And if they're looking out that window and they're peeking out their blinds and they see you kind of hem hawing around and just walking your way, does that create a good first impression? Heck no. So get out of your truck within like no more than like 15, 20 seconds, right? Don't sit there and play around on your phone or finish up a phone call, do all that stuff before you get to the customer's house. And when you arrive, get out of your truck, grab your tools, grab your clipboard, whatever you've got that you got to use, and get up to that door and don't walk through the grass. I'm sorry, I'm still one of those big ones. Take the sidewalk because you never know what's in the grass. They may be one of those people that just absolutely love their grass and don't you dare walk on my grass. But I know there's a lot of stray dogs and cats and deer and everything else in my neighborhood. So you're probably going to be walking through some poo. So don't be dragging your poo into my house. So walk to the house, greet them with a smile, smile, maybe whistle while you're walking up there. It makes a huge first impression because they're full of anxiety, especially if they've never called a service professional out to their house before. So they don't know what to expect. Is this
It's
guy going
it's
to show up? And
start paying attention. Look at
yeah,
this is something I learned from EJ. He likes looking at license plates, and just a stupid little thing like that. Just
yeah,
look at the license plates. You find out something about them, at least, maybe. Um, some people have the vanity plates, and
yep,
it helps you connect with them. And now you've got a conversation starter. You
yeah,
got it like an icebreaker.
yeah,
Look for things around the outside of the house as you're walking up to it. You know, what kind of cars do they drive? How clean is the home? Obviously, but there's always something that you could compliment their landscaping if it's
yeah,
nice. It's
for sure.
anything can be an icebreaker.
Yeah, moving on. I mean, that's those actionable tips there is really about understanding the impact of that first impression and gaining customer loyalty. That's for sure. The second point we're going to be talking about is optimizing your service process for that initial customer interaction. When they submit an inquiry online, if they are calling your phone number, what are the steps that are happening? What are those standardized operating procedures, those SOPs that you have in place? And if you don't have in place, you've got them at your fingertips with the Service Alliance Group. They have all that. So you need to join the alliance. That's another good plug for them if you're not. So all that stuff's in. So standardize a customer onboarding process, right? Clear communication, service expectation, the next steps, even the follow-up after that could be a huge part of it.
Well, and even training. If you're a one man show, um, you've got to train yourself on actual scripts and prompts and things like
Mhm.
that. Like you've got to have a standard set of language that you're going to walk in with. Um, a standard set of questions that you're going to interact with that customer and start asking them things. Whether it's you could ask them some personal things. People love talking about themselves. But if you're
Yeah,
not getting to know your customer, then you're not going to make a connection
yeah,
and they're not going to make a connection with you. So you do need to ask some personal questions here and there.
yeah,
You got to get to know your customer. Otherwise, there's never going to be a connection and they're not going to feel as comfortable with you.
yeah,
Um, and you never know, it could lead into some weird conversations. Sometimes it could lead into some good ones,
yeah,
but that's what makes it memorable. They're going to
yeah.
remember that you took the time to listen and get to know them where other people don't.
And I know a big
Um,
part of people watching this are faith-based. And we talk Bible and business. That's what this podcast was set out to be, was talking Bible and business in this community. And I can tell you many times as a faith-based person, those conversations have led to a point of God tugging and saying, "Hey, you need to pray for this person before you leave. Ask them." And I'm just sitting back going, "Oh man, I don't know about this. Come on, God, really, really? I'm not here for that. No, no." But before I leave, hey, the situation where is okay if I pray with you before I leave? And I never got denied. Never. God always
mhm.
showed up and he was always saying, "This is the person you need to pray with today." So yeah, don't ever let that be something that hinders you from um, doing what God wants you to do. Okay,
And
let's talk about scripts because 2004, as an electrician, I joined like a coaching group, right? And they gave us a script, and it was literally called a script back then. This is the script that you need to be using with your customers. And I remember just thinking, this is corny as all get out. But I remember taking that, and it was just questions, right? Questions were, you know, how long has this been going on? Have you had any other electricians out to look at this? Just simple questions to kind of help me on my diagnostic process. And I remember taking that, and I had a translucent clipboard at the time, so I taped it to the inside of my translucent clipboard so only I could actually see it. And I would read the questions off, and I couldn't write anything down because it was on the inside. And then it just hit me. Doctors do this all the time. They ask questions, they take notes. They ask questions, they take notes. Why am I not taking notes? So I took it out and I started it as part of my work order. I've got some questions to go through just to kind of help me with this diagnostic part of it. I'm going to be taking some notes. Just want to make sure it's okay with you. Never got denied. No, why would you do that? I never got that question. So then now it's part of, I upload that into House Call Pro. Now I have those notes forever. I can't tell you how many times I went back and I was able to utilize those notes the next time or 2 or 3 times that I went out there. "Hey, last time we was out here, you mentioned that, you might wanna have some new lighting in your kitchen. Is that something you'd like to explore this go around?" "Oh, well, thanks for remembering that. I may wanna go ahead and do it with that. Let's talk about that." So my script just became part of the conversation, and I got to know it so well that it just free flowed, and there were certain points that I hit, I call it above the line, below the line, that I would hit on them. Some of them I get to while I was at that initial, conversation. Some of them I get to later. But the point is that I was able to take notes. I was able to take conversation, and turn it into something that bettered them, made their home safer, made it more comfortable. So when you hear the words scripts or prompts, you know, don't dismiss it totally, right? Because it's ways to help you become a more professional company and make homes safer and more comfortable.
Absolutely. So moving on to the next portion, how do you follow up after you leave and and try to keep that first impression going?
Yeah, great question. Again, going back to HCP or Service Works or any of these other ones, a lot of them have that as soon as you in the job, it sends them a follow-up email or a text, after that first interaction. You can customize it in so many different ways. So thank them for choosing your business or reiterating some of the service details, or if it's just an estimate, um, and prompt that, let them know, hey, before I end the call today, I just want to let you know there's going to be an opportunity that you can review our company. There's a link that's going to be sent to you via email or text, whatever they chose. And is there anything that would hinder you from possibly giving me 5 stars today? Because before I leave, I want to make sure that I've given you 5-star service. That's one way to prompt it, or even prompt it earlier in the call. When you first get there. Hey, my name's Jason. I'm here to do some electrical work for you. I just want you to know my goal today is to provide you 5-star service. There's going to be an opportunity at the end of the call to provide some feedback. If there's any reason whatsoever during this call, I'm not giving you 5-star service, please let me know because I want to fix it right then and there before we end this call. So prompt it, right? It's a prompt. It's part of a script, but it's a
Mhm.
prompt to let them know I'm here to serve you the best that I can, right? Talk about leaving a first impression that's going to be really good.
Oh, yeah. And I think you need to definitely keep that first impression feeling going even long after the call.
Yeah.
So, how do you polish the presentation of your team? And we're going to talk about workspace a little.
Man, as soon as you said that, the first thing comes on, how do you polish a turd?
Yeah, pretty much.
How do you polish a turd?
So, obviously we've talked about this before, like your dress code, grooming standards. Um, I can tell you right now, there is nothing more of a turnoff that is to me and my wife is seeing someone come up to my door with this big, huge, bushy ass beard that is not trimmed
100%.
and just, you know, eh, you know, that that just drives me nuts. It just instantly makes me think this person doesn't even care about their appearance,
Mm,
and
wow. Yeah.
you can have a beard, but trim it, shape it,
Yeah.
make it look nice, but having it just, all over the place,
Yeah.
and frizzy, it just
100% agree.
that's just me, I mean, that's like showing up with messy hair, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So,
I I was for the longest time, I was like, yeah, no beard, no goatees. Yeah, if you have a goatee, I got to a point where I was like, I'm good with the goatees, but no longer than a quarter inch. Still to this day, you won't see me with a goatee longer than a quarter inch. And it's just me. Um, but I would have guys that would show up to work and they'd be scruffy. I kept dry erasers in the bathroom. Hey, go shave. There's no
I
shaving
got I
cream.
gotta I
It's a
gotta
dry
pull this
razor.
one up. Dan Dan Ibsen says some of us forget to shave in the morning. I've seen your beard, Dan. You don't shave in the morning at all. The-
I will
I mean,
say,
for those of you that don't know Dan, this dude is Santa Claus
is
all
that Dr.
day.
Dan
All
or a
Dr.
different Dan?
Dan is Santa
Dr. Dan.
Claus
Yep.
in
Yep.
disguise. I swear. So
Yeah. But I mean, the world has changed. Tattoos used to not be as accepted as they are today. I used
right.
to be against having tattoos that were visible. And I remember my first technician that had visible tattoos, he was a really good electrician. You know, he struggled a little bit with being able to be a better like selling technician, but man, a heck of a solid technician. You know, you ask him to go do anything, he would do it. But I remember that started changing my mind. Now I even have visible tattoos, you know?
Yeah.
So
I don't mind
beards,
tattoos either, as long as they're not like something weird or
satanic or
offensive. You know, I mean, there's some
like
people
very
that have
offensive.
really weird and offensive ones,
Yeah,
but
offensive ones, yeah. Like, I love tattoos with story, with meanings, right? When somebody has a tattoo that definitely stands out, I always go the long direction and be like, "Hey, what's the story behind that?" You know? Or, "Tell me about your ink." And they just you see them light up because they're like, "Oh, man." My first visible one was in memory of my best man, and there's some more story behind it. So, PSA, come ask me about it, I'll tell you the story about it. But, yeah, beards, you know, that's another thing. Thanks to the bearded wonders on Duck Dynasty, our world changed. And there was a paradigm shift with being okay with really long beards, but they keep them trim, like you said. They don't have this
mhm.
ugly looking thing. I think a really cool looking trim, neat beard. And there's beard enthusiast clubs all over the place now. You know,
Yeah.
it's just a paradigm shift in our universe.
I am not a beard hater at all. I
No,
just I just don't like really scraggly,
yeah, yep,
unkept, untrimmed beards. It's
yep,
to me, it's just like a real messy head of hair, and
yep.
it's but
Well, okay,
uniforms.
let's keep
Make
on.
sure
Let's
your uniforms match your branding.
branded
Um,
uniforms.
I
Should
think
we
that's
really
huge.
should we dive into service trucks? I mean, this one's a touchy subject with a lot of appliance people. I'm just saying.
Yeah, let's do it. 'Cause
I'm
that's
telling
something that
you,
I wanna bring up because that is my 2nd biggest turn off.
my huge pet peeve was seeing service trucks wrecked. As I was doing business coaching, I haven't done business coaching in a while, but I actually traveled to some places, and first impressions of service trucks were could be horrendous. Like, when you saw my service trucks, you go on Service Detectives, on Facebook page, you can still see it, they're still up there. They're spot on, and it doesn't matter if you went at 7 p.m. at the end of the day, it was cleaned out, ready to go for the next day, 10 o'clock in the morning. My thing is when our phones are answered, uh, they'll be your technician will be arriving with a mobile warehouse stocked with thousands of parts for on-the-spot repairs and services in your home today. I had people would actually come out to my truck and say, "All right, I gotta see this thing." They, like, just told me all about this, and I gotta see this. "Yeah, come on in here." I roll up the door. "Ah." I mean, I want people to see my truck. I'm proud of my truck. I love the way it looks. I love the function of it. I mean, I put so much effort into my trucks, and they were functional. They looked good, and they presented well, and I had so many people that were impressed by the inside of the truck, not just the outside.
But that's the back of the truck.
Oh, front too. Oh,
What
heck
was
yeah.
the cab like?
Mine, always spotless, smell good. Even my trucks today, you get in my truck, my pickup truck, the work van, they smell good, they're clean. You know, we have bigger trucks you can't, but smaller trucks you can it's like $20 a month. You go into a car wash. You can go every day, right? And get your car wash, vacuum it out. Why not do that for your truck if they're small enough to go into? You know, some of them you can't do that with
Mhm.
pickup trucks or if you got ladder rack stuff like that on there, but um
One thing I find super it tells me what kind of person they are, that they're extremely unorganized, right, just at a glance. When I see a service vehicle that the dashboard is just
Yes,
covered with
I was gonna bring that
paper
up.
and throwing all the crap up there, and it's like, is really your dashboard is your filing cabinet? Like,
Yeah,
seriously?
that's
Like,
horrible.
how and my paperwork's gonna be one of those things thrown up there, and it's like, no, I don't even want you touching anything. If
Yeah.
you're that dang disorganized that you can't, have some kind of container and throw something in a file,
Alright.
or a file folder and put it in a tote, on the other seat or something. It's just it
I hate to
I
be
don't
hating
know.
on vans. I hate to be hating like, the worst ones are the rust bucket vans that have all the, like, wheel wells rusted out, even the side wells. They have all the filing cabinet in the dash, and then you see this, the guy smoking the cigarette in the cab with the windows barely cracked. That smell is gonna radiate on you into the customer's house.
Mhm.
I know we're hammering down today, but man, these are the signs of a first person. These people are going to be wanting to use you time and time again.
Yeah, I could
First
even
impression.
deal with, a dented fender,
Yeah.
a little rust on an older vehicle. I can overlook that as long as everything's fairly presentable.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how long that fender's been dented. Could have
I'll see
could
if
have happened, last week, and they're just waiting to get it into the shop, to
there's a
get
local
fixed.
electrician here. I, he's had the same van for probably 40 years. It seemed like 30 years. Chevy Express, rusted out. I mean, he's who I think of when we're talking about this. And I'll try to get a picture of the van and send it to you because, yeah, it's the epitome of why would I call him?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's a limit to
Yeah,
how bad the vehicle gets,
you would
but
think.
if
You
there
would
if
think.
there's a little bit of, surface rust here and there,
Well, this one's a lot.
things do happen, and it's a service vehicle, and I get that. But
Yeah.
if it's like huge holes all over, then I'm gonna worry,
Yeah.
have but
All
that's
right.
just
We'll
me.
we'll we'll
All right,
leave
moving on. We've
vans
hated
alone.
on vehicles enough.
Go get Branded Not Blanded by Dan Antonelli's book. They'll talk more about branding on vehicles, but train your staff on body language and tone. That's a big one. Nonverbal cues can really significantly impact how customers perceive service quality as well. How you converse, how you talk. Don't be dropping the F bomb every other word. Not good. Not good. So, what about setting expectations and communicating proactively? What are some tips we can give the community on
Well, like you said, just don't drop the F-bomb.
that?
That rolls right into this.
Does roll right into it.
But like you said earlier, appointment confirmations, reminders,
Yep.
um, get with the people on their preferred communication channels, because some may prefer email, some may prefer calls, and some may prefer text. You need to find that out right up front. You need to clearly explain your timelines,
Yeah.
right up front, and what it's going to roughly cost. Sometimes I mean, at the minimum, you got to clearly explain the service charge
Yeah.
and how that works.
Hey,
But
checking in throughout the service call goes a long way with the customer. I'll be talking a little bit more about that next week at PSA, about Mrs. Absher and telling a little story about Mrs. Absher. But I'm telling you, just checking in throughout the service call. Hey, I'm getting ready to go out to my truck. I've got to grab some parts. Everything going okay? Any questions for me? Middle of the, hey, I've got this part of the job done. Would you like to see that, or you want me to just go through everything at the end? Right? Communication throughout it goes a long, long way with people.
yeah, especially with those that like to bug you and
Yeah,
watch you throughout the service call. um that could be a little annoying. So what do you do in that time to take their mind off of what you're doing or worrying about what you're doing?
exactly. Are you
Start
casing their
asking them
joint?
questions.
Yeah.
Don't let them ask you questions. You ask them questions. Get them talking about themselves. Get them talking about what they like.
Had
Get
one
their focus away from what you are doing.
had one client. She called an exterminator out there, and she was telling me about the experience, how it was so different from me as an electrician. The exterminator went out there, and he walks in. He's like, "Wow, that's a really nice TV you got." She's like, "Okay, that's odd, but weird." And then he goes out and starts doing his work. He goes and comes in and says something about something in her bedroom. I can't even remember. Was it, "That's a really nice dresser you got," or something like that. And then he's out in the garage. "Wow, that's a really nice car you got." And she literally stopped him at that point. And she goes, "Are you casing my house?" Like, that's how she felt, right? So
Mm.
our conversation can make a big difference. What about,
Yeah, and
like,
he was probably just being honest and complimenting her
yeah,
stuff,
but in her
but
mind, he's casing the joint.
yeah, be conscious of that.
I know our time's getting away from us. This has been a good
Yes.
topic. So, closing up, leaving a lasting impression with value added gestures. Quick tips on that. Anything you can think of?
Value added gestures.
Value added gestures.
Offering if there's anything else that you can do before you leave.
Yeah. So, like, I
That
used to leave light bulbs. You know, when LEDs started coming out and they started changing from incandescent to LEDs, I got a 4-pack and I would leave them. Hey, just want to thank you for having us out today and thank you for your business. Just a little LED bulb had a sticker on there for $20 off future service. Right? What's something that you can do? What's a little appliance thing that doesn't cost hardly anything? What were the sponge scrubby things? Scrub Daddy.
Yeah.
What's one of those cost you? A couple bucks? What's a 4-pack? Hardly anything, right? That could be a good value added service, that you leave just
Mhm.
to thank you. We used to send uh, pictures after big jobs. We would send like before and after pictures. I'd run to Walgreens and get a picture made real quick, and it would have before and after pictures. Just thank you for using, our company, and I would deliver it in a frame and say, "Hey, I just wanted to say thank you for your business." I remember one house I went back to probably about 8 years later after I did all that work, and that picture frame was right there in the garage next to the electrical panel. And I'm sitting here thinking, "How cool is this?" Right? They saved it. So little
I had a
things.
friend years ago, he had squeaky toys for dogs,
Yeah,
and if he went into a home that had a dog, he'd go out in his truck and say, "Hey, I got something for your dog," and he'd come in with a squeaky toy and
that's
give it to
cool.
him, and the owners just loved it because
Yep.
he did something for their animals that they love,
Yeah.
and they thought that that was pretty cool. And of course, he had his logo on it and everything. It was branded. So, but it wasn't something that he left at every house, and it wasn't something that he left for every single dog because, you know, depending on what kind of dog it was or how big it was, it may not have worked for that dog. There you go. Stress balls.
Stress ball.
You gotta love stress balls.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
this has been a good conversation. Lots of meat here, that's for sure. So, I'm looking forward to next week, PSA. You guys have a mastermind this weekend, don't you? On
Yes, we
Saturday?
do.
Yeah.
Marketing 101 for our all
Mhm.
access members. So if you're an all access member, come on in. I'm going to be presenting on marketing basics, all the foundational things. Um and then next week at PSA, we're doing, oh my gosh, we're doing 5. We're
Yeah.
doing presentations on SOPs. uh we're doing, I forgot all of them. I'm doing an SEO presentation for appliance repair companies. I'm doing, um, what else are we doing, EJ? Come on, help me out, buddy. Um,
I don't have it. If you go to
I
psaworld.org and forward
wait,
slash
let me
docs.
look here real quick. Let's see, growth strategies and scaling. Um,
Lots of good
oh
stuff.
my gosh, what else are we doing? We got 5 presentations going on.
That's pretty cool.
So
And you guys have
implementing standard operating procedures, that's one. Networking and building strategic partnerships. Um, let's see, customer service excellence. EJ is putting that one on. So we're doing quite a bit of business classes there.
and then
So it's going
Tuesday
to be good.
we've got it's Service Alliance Group and my office help is hosting a get together at Roger Brown's there in Portsmouth, Virginia. And it's going to be around 7 p.m. So if you're out and about and want to come hang out with the Service Alliance Group and my office help, some free food, gonna be a good time.
Yeah, we're going to
Maybe
have
some
fun.
karaoke. Last time we did
Nice little
karaoke.
meetup. We have fun at our meetups. So
Yeah, yeah.
if
The
you're out
karaoke
there,
was interesting.
if you're not signed up for PSA, get signed up like ASAP
Yeah.
and get out there and plan on being at our meetup. We're going to hang out, and we'll give you more information on that soon. Um, I'm not the one in charge of setting all that up, so I don't have all the details. So sorry about that. But if you're signed up for our newsletter on servicealliancegroup.com, make sure you're signed up for the newsletter, and we'll send out some information on that. All right.
Lastly, if you liked anything in this episode, be sure to like, share, pay the fee. It's super easy. Like, share, subscribe. My Office Help, Service Alliance Group, ITD Web Design. And we appreciate you guys watching us and keeping us motivated.
All right.
Go
We'll
polish them
we'll
turds.
see you next week. We don't know what our schedule's like because Jason and I are having some conflicts
Yeah.
with our
Monday, Mike's got a presentation. Tuesday, I've got a presentation. Wednesday, Mike's got a presentation at the time we typically do this.
at the
So,
same time we always do the live. So
yeah.
this is going to be a challenge for us. We're trying to figure out how we're gonna do this. We may have to swap some days. So
Yeah.
But regardless, we'll be coming to you live from PSA next week,
Yeah.
and we'll hope to meet and see a lot of you there.
Have a good week.
All right. See you guys later.